What up? What up? Let's get started. Monday. Who else is in shorts right now? Nobody, because we aren't trading today. Mm, what are we saying is the best inverse play here? Is it this to go back to the high, or is it the short? I kind of think it's the short. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the short here. April is short. One short. Three candle. In macro, 10 a.m. reversal. 9 to AMD. Good break even. Oh, and we have the sweep too, yeah. So the sweep here is these highs. Just the internal. I mean, it would have been better if we would have gotten that sweep on the left, but didn't get it. Okay. Tuesday. See, a Dodge took the longs on that first day. So you would have been done trading by the second trade, but I think that one was better. Um, Dodgy alerted a 30-second somewhere here, I think. I don't really like any of that. I'm gonna be honest, there is not a good iFVG play here. We're gonna have to cope and like use the lower time frame. Oh yeah, that was the 15-second. I remember now. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. There's no good trades today on this day. So I guess we're gonna skip Tuesday. The 15-second I don't think was good enough. We never trade the 15-second. Wednesday. What was the trade from Wednesday that was like textbook? Was it this short? Probably not, right? We wouldn't have been anticipating that. We would have been looking for the longs. The 3-minute long, right? That's the play. Yeah, this 3-minute long up to the highs. I like that. In macro pre-news. So I guess we can say it's like an A because of the pre-news. Um, anything else? OB plus iFVG. I think there's an unfilled 1 hour there, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's money. Yeah. We have delivery from yeah, that too. Okay. And then Thursday. What happens when I use your code to buy an eval? So it depends on what prop firm you choose. On Lucid, I think it's like 50% off. Oh wait, no. Lucid sale actually just ended, so now I don't know what the new sale is. But for Tradeify, I think it's 35%. You just get a discount. It also might help pass your eval, but that's not guaranteed. All right, what is the play of the day here? Honestly, I think it's this long, but that lost, so I don't know. I don't like the shorts here until obviously we're like way expanded away from it. Oh, maybe it's the 2 minute short actually. We'll just say that. Okay. So yeah, we'll say the 2 minute short. Why not? What about the 1 minute confirmation setup? The long here or what? Yeah, that was a break even. 8 plus 2 minute short. Swept at a high. Side 5 minute bullish gap. Good momentum on inverse. Are we inside the macro? No macro. It's like an A. Makes sense with liquidity. Okay, that's it. That's iFVGs of the week. Any questions, people? Usually take the first V-shape inversion. Sometimes I get smoked after the first one. In very specific cases, you have to use discretion. Yep, resweep is usually the ideal scenario there. You want to wait for that and then a CISD too. Is it okay for not taking anything this week? You definitely should have taken a few trades this week. Completely is up to you and how much work you need to put in Aretos. Yeah, so in this example here, the reason why I think it's valid is because we did take out like the overnight session liquidity, the Asia, high there, and we were coming off of I think it was There was some fair value gap to the left there on the lower time frame. I don't remember what it was. Um, but yeah, like basically, I wasn't really married to the high here to be swept. This would have been way better. But what I'm looking at here is okay. We leave a lot of inefficiencies behind, so this whole price leg is completely unbalanced, and we get a good opportunity to take like a very high risk reward play, okay, to balance all of the inefficiencies we left behind. So just bare minimum to this price leg, that's 2R, and all the way down that's 4R. So to me, I think this wins, more than 40% of the time, or at least gets to the break even more than 40% of the time. So um just based on what I've seen in the past, through all the data we've collected. So I think that this is a good enough entry to take where we get the reversal after taking liquidity, and we have the internal low there to go break even at the next, for value gap in the leg. And usually price isn't going to leave behind like this much inefficient price action. And so that's what you're trying to trade here using discretion, is you're playing the reaction to liquidity. You're also playing you're kind of jumping the gun on the CISD a little bit. But once we get that, that's when you know, okay, this is a full-fledged reversal. And yeah. I'm using the most popular one, ICT kill zones and pivots. This one I would go all the way, and I would scale at like the each subsequent like higher time frame inefficiency we run into, or maybe I'd scale around 50%. So when I'm marking out this chart, I would go like high to low here. And so maybe I'd take first profit here at the 15-minute. And then I would take maybe a second take profit at like this 15-minute, and then maybe hold a runner. Yeah, you're taking this inverse with the hope that we get the CISD. And you're taking this because realistically it's a pattern trade, but you know that it makes sense in terms of liquidity too. So it's both of those things. You're taking this not because it's a high probability setup, but because the risk reward is so good. So you have to keep that in mind when taking this play. You can't treat this like a one-to-one play. You have got to hold here. Anytime you're going to be taking a setup that's like this, where you're shorting into other bullish for value gaps, and you're taking like what would, in my opinion, be considered a lower probability setup because there's confluences that are working against your position, you want to make sure you're holding for higher risk reward. I do 2 trades every toss, but yeah, it's just like Dodge said, it's up to you and your experience. What do I think about that 1-minute long right after the short? This 1-minute long I like. It's a good break-even trade. Yeah, it's okay to take a pattern trade if it makes sense in terms of liquidity. Okay. What's going against you here isn't liquidity, but it's order flow. Okay. We haven't confirmed order flow is bearish yet, right? So whenever I'm trying to think of like bias, okay, it's order flow plus draw and liquidity. Okay. If you look at the top of my thing here, I have bias, momentum, time, model. Okay. I need these 4 things in order to be aligned with like a good trade. Here we do get the 2-minute inverse, but the 5 minutes still holding, and we have no CISD. So order flow here I would say is like weak. Okay. Draw here though is strong. So overall bias is just kind of mid, right? It's not as high probability as it could be. The mechanical setup, the model, is A+. It's very good, right? Sweep, V-shape, singular gap, 3-candle inverse, right? That's typical, right? Momentum here, momentum is good, right? On the inverse, obviously it kind of slows down after. And then time, well, time is kind of irrelevant here because we're not really in a macro. We're not really in a typical reversal time. So we're really lending a lot of like our confluence to this trade on uh, reaction to price taking liquidity is bearish. Super reaction, right? So like that's helping us. It gives us a nice confluence. And that's really what we're basing a lot of our trade on. So on their own, if I was going for a one-to-one setup, this wouldn't be enough confluences for me to like, use discretion and be like, okay, I'm gonna take this setup. I like it. But because the risk to reward is so good, I'm willing to take the setup, right? As long as I'm holding for more. OF equals order flow. In fact, the problem that I had with this setup, because I actually didn't end up holding this trade, is it was taking too long to dump. So I already didn't think the confluences were that strong, but I like the risk to reward. When price started to stall here, that made me nervous in the position because normally if we're gonna dump, we are just going to, automatically go down, right? Like that's typical of like, a sell model, right? You can see here, do you see how aggressively we drop? This is what, a good short should look like, and it shouldn't look like this ever. And so when I saw that paired with the fact that this CISD was not getting formed, I thought maybe this would turn into a failed CISD, which would mean we would get, take it right back to the high, right? Keep that in mind. Anytime we get a failed CISD, meaning price cannot create the CISD, price is just going to go automatically back to the high. Okay. So that's why I cut the position early. Okay. So that's discretionary trading, right? This is where the profitable traders get made. It's through discretion. You have to be a good discretionary trader. You're never going to be a profitable day trader trading as an individual with a mechanical model, ever. So you got to pay attention to that in live time. So that's what made me nervous about this trade. I ended up getting break even on it, but obviously it works. So not a foolproof system, right? Discretion is always going to be, something that you learn over time and is a little bit more nuanced. But yeah. I always want iFVG paired with CISD. Not always. I will always want a CISD in order to confirm a reversal. Uh, yeah, Mott, but we weren't really giving us anything that like told us that. Like, I guess we had the order block here, and maybe in hindsight, it was better to just have my stop loss instead of at a reclose above the 2 minute. Maybe move my hard stop here, so that if we violated the 1 minute order block here, I would just get stopped because we shouldn't violate that. And maybe that was the proper way to manage the position. But I really just didn't like the way we were chopping. I figured this should have been a quick clean move down to the low here, and we should have just gone. But I guess we were waiting for the macro for that to happen. So in hindsight, probably should have waited. That's cool, Mata. The most obvious continuous price leg, right? So like, you also have to be contextual about it, right? Like, you wouldn't really use this leg here because obviously price is already reversed. And while technically this is a valid leg because like we can just look at this as like a whole like balanced area in price. And so if we're still bearish, this area in price should be respected, which is I guess ultimately what we do. You want to find like a better like a sooner opportunity to look for the reversal. Like this is too late, right? You're almost in discount of the range. So here I really like this CISD stands out to me. And you wouldn't really use the 30-second here because I mean I guess you could, but it's the same thing as the 1 minute. So you want to use the highest time frame when you can. Um so yeah, highest time frame, most obvious, manipulation leg, right? When we inverse that manipulation leg, that's your CISD. Um and a manipulation leg is just a leg in price that takes out a high or taps into an inefficiency or balances a PD array or something like that. Yeah, you can use the OB instead of the iFVG. Do I use stop hunt? I don't know what that is. I mean, I guess liquidity sweeps. Does this model work in Asia? I don't know. I've never traded it. Consistently. I've traded a few Asia sessions. It was working when I was trading gold during Asia. All right, guys. I'm gonna go enjoy my weekend. Y'all have a happy, good, safe 4th of July if you're in the U.S. For the rest of you, enjoy your long weekend. I'll catch y'all Monday. Peace out.